This is Spam Jam Podcast by First Line Software.
Hello, you're listening to Spam Jam by First Line Software. My name is Vladimir and I will be your host today. And today we're going to talk with Ksenia, who is our senior business analyst. Hi, Ksenia.
Hi, Vladimir.
How are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you.
So we're going to dive into the story around GenAI. Very hot topic. Everybody are talking about GenAI, and GenAI for analysts is quite an important area. So let's try to talk about that. But first, can you please tell me a bit about your daily working life?
Sure. As you said, I'm business/system analyst.
Okay.
Well, the scope of my work is pretty usual for business analysts. So I illustrate requirements, communicate with stakeholders, run discovery, analyze all the data which I have received from the stakeholders. Then I document it to the requirements, communicate a lot with the development team. And then after all the functionality is developed based on my requirements, I make user acceptance testing and then finally see my results in production and make a demo to the stakeholders so that they can review and provide feedback for this.
Okay, got it. Where is this slash? I mean, where is the border between business and system analyst?
Yeah, it's a very, very good question. Business analysts mainly work describing functional requirements, how user interact with the interface, for example. When you click some button, you'll see a pop-up and so on. When we're speaking about system analysts, there you need to understand how, when something is changing the system, what are the triggers to change the data, to send some data or remove them. It's a bit another level of analysis, and mainly it's knowledge which is very important when you're working on the integration, so that you have some system and you need to integrate with another third-party system, and here you can, to think about API calls, what is the body of the request, which data should be included there, what are the validation rules, and so on.
Okay, so you are combining all these both areas in one brain, right?
Depending on the epic which I'm picking up and working with, well, it depends which business area will be then included in my requirements.
So for which part of you is GenAI more interesting, for business side or for system side?
It's absolutely another layer, I would say.
Okay.
I have started working on the AI project probably 1 year ago. And the first project was our first-line AI assistant called Jamie. For those who don't know, you can go navigate to First Line Software webpage and find their AI assistant who can help you with the questions maybe you have about First Line. And firstly, when I have started to work on the project as a business analyst, I didn't know what should I do, because mainly I understand that I need to prepare some requirements, but project have some specific, because you need to prepare features which will cover user stories, basic description, and acceptance criteria. But what are the acceptance criteria for Jamie? And
it's based on large language model.
Yeah, when I used to work on the functionality, when I create acceptance criteria using Gherkin format, so that a given user on some page, when the user clicks some button, they are redirected to another page. But what is the acceptance criteria for AI assistant? And it was like a challenge for me, and especially at the very beginning, I didn't know much about GenAI, how it works. And I was struggling at the beginning, and when testing Jamie, I used just manual approach, so that we have prepared some source data for Jamie, and basically these are use cases which are provided on First Line Software website.
Okay.
So that all this data we summarized via ChatGPT, then added to database, and based on this data, Jamie provides some answers. So that on the first step, I just checked that Jamie responds to the source data which we have uploaded.
But in general, sorry for interrupting you, but in general, so there is a LLM behind. some data from our website.
Right.
But in fact, I mean, LLM is kind of bad student, right? If he doesn't know an answer, starts generating it.
Right, correct.
So how to work with that? I mean, you can ask something about first-line software that doesn't exist on the website and then start generate some hallucinations.
Yeah, it's absolutely correct. Here comes to play prompt engineering.
Okay.
And unfortunately, when I was working on Jamie at the moment, I didn't know a lot about prompts, how it should be written, and these tasks were done by the developers who were working on the project. But then, when working on another project for clients or a project which we internally were developing for first-line software, then I tried myself as a prompt engineer so that I can just apply the knowledge which I have gained from some courses. Mainly, you can find them anywhere in the internet, like some platform called Deep AI Learning, for example. There are a lot of courses so that you know that there are different types of prompts. It's important to provide some context to the model so that you will receive some more accurate responses. Well, anytime I'm asking myself who will be business analysts in AI projects. And I think it will depend on the skills which they may have or not. Like in my example with Jamie, I didn't know how to test LLM and I didn't know how to create a prompt. And this way, all these tasks were completed by the developers.
Okay.
But in case if a BA has knowledge, understanding how to create prompt, how to test model, then probably this task can be assigned to them so that they can not only prepare requirements, but also prepare definition of ready, like prepare a prompt, add it to the requirements, like based on the elicitation with the stakeholder. And then if you are also have knowledge how to test LLM, you can provide probably some evaluation metrics which are crucial for some LLM, for example, because I believe that if you are testing image generation via LLM, probably you'll need some another metrics when you are testing a pure RAG.
Okay. Just to summarize, as far as I understood, one of the new skill you need to have is prompt engineering. I mean, you as an analyst have to be a kind of professional prompt engineer. If it's possible to say professional.
Yes, if possible. When we are speaking about Scrum at all, according to Mr. Sutherland, he says that there are only 3 roles. It's a Scrum Master who is responsible for efficiency of the team, then a product owner, it's a value maximizer who prepares backlog, prioritize the items, and then the developers. There is no business analyst at all. So that probably if the teams are used to work without business analysts, they can create prompts and test LLMs by themselves. They need to just gain knowledge.
Okay.
But in case there is a BA, probably this task can be executed by the BA. I think it's great. It's a great opportunity for BA to try something new, and why not?
Yeah, that's true. Before we will go to the serious topics, maybe you have some, funny case around Jamie, maybe some funny response which you catched, anything curious?
I found out that there are a lot of jail attacks for Jamie, where users asking to rewrite the code or review the code.
Okay.
I know who is doing this, and or generate some joke. And we enable and we allow we allow Jamie to generate jokes. Like, why not? It wasn't a restriction from the product owner who was thinking about how Jamie should respond. But sometimes jokes are not so bad.
Okay. But talking about these kind of stories, one story is we have like jokes, and something funny happening. But there are a lot of stories when responders from AI chatbots which were probably not properly designed or tested, were very harmful for companies. Yeah, we heard about situations when some guy was able to buy a car for $1 and so on and so forth. And this brings me to the topic, and you partially already start talking about that. Yeah, so how you as an analyst can define the borders of LLM. I mean, let's imagine we have a new client, something's big, public, and available. Yeah, on their websites they need to, I know, they're selling houses, for example. Yeah, and or anything, cars, houses, and they want to, I mean, this AI chatbot, yeah, to talk with the potential client, response, and maybe even do some pre-sale stuff. Yeah, and in that case, if Jamie is joking, it's okay. Yeah, but if these AI chatbots start answering something wrong, yeah, it might be super painful for a company. So how prepare requirements in a proper way? What is going to be changed in your daily work? How to prepare requirements in a proper way so GenAI project, yeah, will be successful and secure enough?
Yeah, it's a good question. You know, I think there are some basic rules about any AI project, just to take into account the metrics which are essential when you're testing LLM. And one of them is data leakage. So that depending what is your project, it's a medicine, healthcare, or rental of homes, for sure you need to understand which data are sensible for the client and to discuss this. And then based on this elicitation, communication with the stakeholder, you can understand that there are some sort of data, and you need to verify and make sure that you include this information to prompt so that LM doesn't respond to the questions which can return the data which are sensible for the client.
Okay, but in general, still, I mean, healthcare is a good topic here, yeah, because it's, I mean, strictly connected to our life. Yeah, I've heard the story. It was not a story. I was just on the meeting, and the guy said, so I was a bit scared when my doctor, he was not speaking my language, and he translated everything about me using ChatGPT, and I was not sure whether this translation is proper enough to treat me well. Yeah. So anything you may, I mean, what's happening with your role in that case? Yeah. Anything you need to start thinking twice, 3 times. I mean, spend more time on preparing all these different aspects. Yeah, how system should react, because now my vision is that we are not talking anymore about how system should act, yeah, but we are talking about how system should react, because we cannot say strictly how it will act. We can just somehow try to define, let's say, behavior of the system. So is it going to be more, let's say, stressful, painful for you as an analyst, because you are responsible for that, right? Engineer will later on just implement based on that, yeah, but how to wrap it?
Well, basically, we need to understand what are the data which are, so I would say, personalized. Like, is it SSN, date of birth, first name, last name, address, or so on. That to categorize all the data, which should be specially handled. And probably, well, you can make it different ways. Discuss with the stakeholder, because they are the owner of the product. They understand which information cannot be provided to any user, or can be provided some of the users. Well, another way, just to go through all the source data provided by clients and try to define what are the data can be sensible, and then to go back to the client and just go through all of them and provide collect some feedback for this, right? Another way, just ask LLM to make it for you. Yeah. Possible. But we say here about some customized LLM so that this data won't flow to any other sources.
Okay.
Sure.
So just to wrap up, my question is, would GenAI replace analysts in the future, or it will kind of empower you and give you more abilities to work when you're using it?
I would say that GenAI brings some new tasks, and these tasks doesn't bring a new role from my perspective. Well, I don't think that we will have some new role in the team called prompt engineer or QA AI tester, for example. There are some tasks, and the question is whether business analysts will be able to execute them or not. And it will depend on their readiness of the people to delve into this new sphere. And I understand the people who are afraid of this. When I was joining the project, the Jamie, I also had fears because I didn't know how to act. But if there is an opportunity to try something new and you have a fear, just trust me, go to this project and try yourself, because it's always brings some knowledge and you'll be another person after this.
And you were listening to Spam Jam by First Line Software. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and please follow us, subscribe, and send us your comments. Thank you. Bye-bye.
This is Spam Jam Podcast by First Line Software.